My own sister orchestrated a vicious plot to erase me from her perfect engagement party, but she's about to face a shattering reckoning for betraying the one who loved her most. Buckle up, because this revenge will leave you stunned. Comment if you've ever been stabbed in the back by family, and subscribe for the next explosive chapter. I drove 10 hours through a blizzard with a cake in my lap and hope in my heart to surprise my sister at her engagement party. But when I walked in, everyone looked at me like I was the storm itself. They'd erased me from the guest list, laughed about me crashing, told lies I wasn't meant to hear. So, what do you do when the family you've always protected finally reveals they never planned to protect you back? Stick around, because the cake wasn't the only thing they abandoned that night. 7 months ago, the snowstorm was easier than family. I left Denver just after dawn, the skyline fading in my rearview mirror. My trunk was packed tight, mostly with a towering cream-colored bakery box carefully insulated for the ride. Mira had once told me she loved raspberry vanilla cake more than anything, so I ordered it 10 days early, paid $150, 0 cents extra to have it made fresh that morning. 10 hours through sleet, ice, and white-knuckled roads because I wanted to see her face when I walked in. She was my little sister, even when she didn't act like it. "I'm doing this for you, Mira," I whispered, my voice trembling with determination as the storm raged outside, my heart set on her smile. I stopped once for gas and chai tea, changing into my flats in a gas station restroom. My coat clung to me like a damp shroud. Still, I smiled, cheeks flushed from the wind, repeating in my head, "This is worth it. She's worth it." By the time I reached the mountain estate, in Aspen, my tires crunched on gravel crusted with fresh snow. The mansion loomed like a wedding fantasy. Silver lights twisted along wrought iron gates, a harp duet echoing faintly from the main hall. I thought, this is going to be unforgettable, just not in the way I imagined. As I handed my keys to the valet, he blinked at me twice. "Are you catering?" I laughed politely, assuming he was joking. "Catering?" I said, my voice sharp with disbelief. "I'm Mira's sister." "No, I'm family." Inside, the air was warm, scented with lavender and orchids, but the chill from outside didn't leave my spine. Nobody greeted me. Women in ivory gowns glanced over their shoulders, lips tightening. "They're staring like I'm an intruder," I muttered, my heart sinking as their cold glances pierced me. I took a deep breath, walking in with the cake box like it was a peace offering. Then I saw her, Mira, in a satin ivory dress, hair curled into perfection, laughing at something a groomsman whispered until she spotted me. Her smile faltered, then dropped. "You actually came?" "I drove all day," I replied, trying to sound lighter than I felt. "Surprise." "Surprise?" she snapped, her eyes flashing with contempt. "You're unbelievable, Selene." She didn't even reach for the box. "I didn't think you'd, make it in this weather." I set the cake gently on a side table next to trays of petit fours. "Well, I did. You're getting engaged." "I wouldn't miss it." She blinked, and behind her, Talia leaned in, whispering loudly enough for me to catch. "She wasn't on the list, was she?" "What list?" I demanded, my voice trembling with hurt, their betrayal already clear. I tried not to flinch, but then I saw it. Mira's expression wasn't shock. It was calculation. "I'll be right back," she muttered, vanishing into a side hallway. "You planned this," I whispered, my voice breaking as her cold dismissal hit, my heart fracturing. I stood there, ignored, as people flowed around me like I was part of the decor. I found my mother, Evelyn, near the fireplace, dressed in sapphire and diamonds. She offered a quick air kiss, then said with a strained smile, "Just don't make this about you, okay? Tonight is for Mira." I forced a laugh. "Of course." "About me," I hissed, my voice low with fury. "I risked my life to be here for her." Then she glanced at the wet hem of my coat and frowned. "Mira's fiancé passed by." I smiled at him. He nodded barely. I walked deeper into the house, passing framed engagement photos. Not one had me in it. By the dessert table, I overheard giggles. Drama magnet. Every family's got one. Maybe she thinks this is her wedding rehearsal. Keep laughing, I muttered, my hands clenching as their cruel words sliced through me, fueling my resolve. They didn't even bother whispering. I found the coat room to drop off my things. Inside, I saw an ornate tray labeled bridal party gifts. 12 boxes, sparkling jewelry, handwritten cards. My name was nowhere. I sat on a nearby bench, exhaling slowly. Then my phone buzzed. A group text from Mira's bridal party. I wasn't meant to be in it. Maybe someone added me by mistake, or maybe the universe decided I deserved the truth. One message stood out, time-stamped, earlier that day. She doesn't fit the vibe. We'll say the list was capped, sent from Mira's number. You betrayed me, I whispered, my voice shaking with rage as I read her words, betrayal burning in my chest. My throat dried, the corners of my eyes stung. I stepped back into the cold, breathing icy air like it might numb everything inside me. For a moment I stared at the snowbanks. This wasn't a misunderstanding. It was a plan. Link to next chapter. The cold had barely numbed my face when Mira's voice called out behind me. You think you can just barge in and ruin my night? The cold from outside still clung to my coat as I stood in the hallway, phone in hand, the blue glow of the group text illuminating the cracks in my heart. Ruin your night? I snapped, turning to face her, my voice trembling with fury. I drove through a blizzard for you, Mira. My fingers trembled, not from the snow, but from the words etched into that thread. Mira's words. I stared for a moment longer, willing myself to unsee them. Then, without replying, I deleted the message, but the damage was done. The screen might have gone dark, but the echo of those sentences would ring in my mind for a long time. You planned to humiliate me, I said, my voice low and seething, her cold eyes meeting mine. I pressed my lips together, inhaled deeply and stepped back into the main banquet hall. I walked slower this time, trying to find a rhythm to my steps that didn't make me feel like I was crashing into a world that had already rejected me. The music was louder now, the bass vibrating through the floors, a curated mix of celebration. Laughter swelled from the corner where Mira and her bridesmaids huddled around a crystal champagne tower. Her back was turned, but I could see her smile. It wasn't for me. Tables lined the grand room, each covered in velvet runners, flickering candles, and elegantly printed name cards. I scanned them all. Once, twice. My name didn't appear, not even a variation, not even a mistake. There was a table by the dessert station, one seat empty. I moved toward it with hesitant hope, clutching my coat like a shield. But a server stepped in with a practiced smile. Oh, I'm sorry, that seat's for the event planner's assistant. Of course it is, I whispered, my voice laced with bitter resignation as I stepped back, the rejection a fresh wound. I nodded silently, forcing a tight smile, the kind that says it's okay when it absolutely isn't. So, I stood in the corner, alone. I filled a plastic cup with sparkling water from the refreshment table and held it with both hands, fingers curled tightly like I could squeeze comfort from it. From where I stood, I had a clear view of the projection screen showing a photo slideshow, childhood pictures of Mira, blowing out birthday candles, winning her first ballet recital, hugging friends at graduation. Not one included me. I might as well have been edited out of her life. You've erased me, I whispered, my voice trembling with pain as the slideshow played, each image a dagger to my heart. Someone brushed past, knocking my elbow without apologizing. I moved closer to the wall. Even the wall felt more welcoming than the people in this room. Aunt Nora was the only one who acknowledged me, appearing briefly in a gown too bright for her age, perfume so strong it nearly made me cough. You should try to be happy for your sister, she said, touching my arm. This is her big moment, just let her have it. I swallowed my pride with the knot in my throat. Of course, I replied, voice flat. Happy? I hissed, my voice low with fury. She planned to exclude me, Nora. But the smile I gave her was practiced, polished from years of family functions where pretending was a survival skill. She moved on before I could say something real, not that it would have mattered. No one was listening tonight. The burn behind my eyes returned. I blinked it away, once, twice, but the third time I gave in. I excused myself quietly and found the hallway to the restrooms. Inside a stall, I locked the door and sat against a cold wall, coat clutched tightly. The tears came slow, hot trails against frozen cheeks. I didn't sob. Didn't make a sound, just leaked like a faucet dripping. For years, unnoticed. I gave my heart for you, I whispered, my voice breaking as tears fell, the weight of their betrayal crushing me. I don't know how long I sat there, but eventually I wiped my face with my coat sleeve, took a deep breath and stood. The kind of breath you take before walking back into battle. Knowing you won't win, but refusing to lose silently. I'm not invisible anymore, I said, my voice steady with newfound strength as I stood, resolve replacing despair. As I walked back toward the ballroom, I took a wrong turn, stepping into a service hallway I hadn't noticed. The walls were tighter, lined with rolling carts and trays of food. I paused to reorient myself, and that's when I heard it. Laughter. Familiar laughter, then a voice. Mira's voice. I froze. She was around the bend, talking to Talia. Their tones were light, tipsy, unguarded. Then I heard my name. Accidents are revealing. I didn't move. I didn't breathe. Their voices bounced off the kitchen tile. I could see their shadows on the linoleum. Mira's curls bobbing as she gestured with a champagne glass. Talia perched on a stool, legs swinging lazily. I can't believe she actually drove here, Talia said, laughter curled in her voice like a spark waiting for fuel. Mira replied without missing a beat. 10 hours through a blizzard for what? A sad little cake? You wished I died, I whispered, my heart shattering as their laughter echoed, their cruelty a knife in my chest. Talia's snort was sharp, mean. She's always been desperate for attention. God, what if she'd crashed on the way? Mira chuckled, her tone cutting deeper than I expected. Honestly, I could have used the silence and the sympathy. You're monsters, I whispered. My words sank in betrayal burning through me. The laugh they shared echoed, not just cruel, but practiced. I backed away slowly, like any sudden move might expose me. I didn't care where I was going, just needed space. I turned down a hallway smelling of sage and bleach, stumbled into the restroom, locked the stall, and let myself cry without holding back. I wanted to scream, demand answers, storm out and throw that damn cake across the room. But I didn't. Instead, I pressed my hand to my mouth, willing my sobs into silence. How could you do this to me, Mira? I whispered, my voice muffled by my hand, the pain raw and unrelenting. My phone buzzed. A weather alert, not a single message from anyone at the party. No check-in, no hey where are you from Evelyn, nothing. I pulled up my text thread with her anyway, just to be sure. The last message was mine. Just arrived, can't wait to see everyone. It had been read. No reply. My fingers scrolled through old messages on autopilot, stopping at a photo from last Thanksgiving. Mira opening a gift, Evelyn smiling behind her, me partially cropped out at the edge. I remembered birthdays. No one showed up for my college move-in day, where my roommate's mom brought decorations, and mine dropped me at the curb with a tight hug and make us proud. When I got promoted last summer, the family newsletter didn't mention it, but Mira getting featured in a Pilates studio flyer? Full paragraph. I'd been a ghost to you, I whispered, my voice breaking as the memories flooded back. Each one a fresh wound. I wiped my face, checked the mirror, eyes red but dry, jaw clenched. My chest felt like stone. When I walked back toward the hall, I passed through the kitchen, hoping no one would notice. I saw the cake where I'd left it, packed in that silver box with the gold ribbon I'd picked out at 2:00 a.m. the night before. I took it out, removed the lid, and stared. A delicate 3-layer raspberry vanilla cake with sugared roses and a fondant banner. To love, to joy, to eternity. It was perfect, untouched. I set it on the counter. A server spotted me. "Ma'am, I'm sorry. Guests aren't allowed." "Take the cake," I said, my voice steady with resolve as I pushed the box toward him. "Let someone else enjoy what you didn't value." "I'm just leaving," I said quietly. "It's fine." I didn't wait for him to finish. I slipped through the service exit, pulling my coat tight. The wind bit my cheeks, but it stung less than what I'd heard. I reached my car, sat behind the wheel, and stared at my phone. 16 missed calls from numbers I recognized, but none mattered anymore. I powered it off, tossed it on the passenger seat. That night I didn't go home. I found a roadside motel, paid $80, 0 cents in cash, and didn't leave my name. I slept with the TV on, still dressed, waiting for the heartbreak to dull. "I am done being their scapegoat," I whispered, my voice firm as I stared at the motel ceiling, a fire igniting within me. I sat on the edge of the bed, staring at the geometric wallpaper, listening to the low hum of the air conditioner, though it was freezing outside. The remote lay untouched beside me. I couldn't watch anything, not a sitcom to laugh, not a drama to distract. Instead, I replayed that hallway conversation, every word Mira said carved into my skin. How many times had I given her the benefit of the doubt? How often had I defended her choices, even when they made no sense? I drove through whiteouts for her. She couldn't lift a phone to warn me I wasn't wanted. "I was a fool for loving you," I whispered, my voice trembling with self-reproach, the truth searing my soul. Yet part of me still wanted to believe this wasn't who she was. But deep down, I knew it was. I curled beneath the motel comforter, scratchy against my arms, and whispered to the ceiling, "What am I even doing here?" No answer came, just the wind rattling the window pane, reminding me I'd always been on the outside looking in. "I've been invisible my whole life," I said, my voice breaking as the realization hit, raw and unyielding. The motel curtains didn't block much sunlight. I woke disoriented, still in my clothes, the faint smell of raspberry frosting and snow clinging to my coat on the chair. My phone blinked with missed calls and unread messages. I sat up slowly, grabbed it, bracing myself, not for concern, but for what I knew was waiting. "You embarrassed Mira. Why'd you leave the cake and disappear? You've always had a flair for drama." "You don't care about me," I muttered, my voice steady with bitter clarity as I read their accusations, my heart hardening. Not one asked, "Are you okay?" I scrolled further, numb fingers tapping cold glass. A cousin I hadn't heard from in 3 years chimed in. "You always make everything about you. It was her night." Then the one that turned my stomach. Evelyn in the family group chat. "She's been emotionally unstable lately. Just give her space." That was the story now. I'd shown up, caused a scene, stormed out because I couldn't handle someone else's joy. No one mentioned the cake I'd brought through a blizzard. No one asked about the bruising words I overheard. No one cared why I left. The answer was too inconvenient. They needed a villain, and I'd been unanimously nominated. "You've rewritten my story," I whispered, my voice trembling with rage as their lies unfolded, my resolve stealing. By mid-morning, Mira had posted a photo from the party on Instagram. Her beaming, surrounded by bridesmaids in matching cream shawls. Caption, "A perfect night with all the people I love. Blessed, engaged life." I wasn't in it, wasn't tagged, wasn't a footnote. I blinked down at a message from an old friend. "Hey, weren't you at the party? Mira said you couldn't make it. Everything okay?" I didn't reply, just stared, realizing the rewrite had begun. They didn't just want me gone. They wanted me erased. "You've tried to bury me," I said, my voice steady with fury as I read her post, betrayal burning through me. I sat in that cheap motel bed, mattress springs poking through, and let my memories unspool. My high school graduation, no family photo. My first apartment, no housewarming gift. My last birthday, a $20 0 cents gift card, unsigned. This wasn't new. It had just become visible, like dust in sunlight. I packed slowly, wiping the bathroom counter with a tissue out of habit. Before leaving town, I drove past the estate. The snow was shoveled clean, like the night never happened. Silver lights twinkled on the trees, oblivious. I parked across the street, staring. Through a side window, I saw it, the cake box, sealed, untouched. I snapped a photo through the glass. Not for revenge, for proof. Someday, someone might ask, was it really that bad? I needed to say yes, and here's what you didn't see. This is my evidence, I whispered, my voice resolute as I saved the photo, a testament to their betrayal. Back in my car, I plugged in my phone, checking voicemail. 16 missed calls, 1 message from Mira. Look, we need to talk, but not in front of people. You took things way too personally. I didn't delete it. Let it sit while the sun sank, casting long gray shadows across the snowbank. I didn't call back. You don't get to rewrite my truth, I said, my voice firm as I powered off the phone, a fire igniting within me. For the first time in years, I smiled. I wasn't going to explain myself anymore. Let them talk, twist. They'd written their version. Now I was ready to write mine. Link to next chapter. The snow had melted slightly overnight, leaving crusty patches of slush outside my apartment window. I sat at the kitchen table, still in my sleep shirt and jeans, coffee gone cold. I hadn't planned to answer her call, but I was done hiding behind silence. So, when Mira's name flashed on the screen, I pressed accept, propping my phone against the cream canister. The screen flickered, and there she was. Polished, mascara clinging to her lashes, the same soft curls from 2 nights ago, perfectly curated as always. You think you can just vanish and make me look bad? Mira hissed, her eyes blazing with accusation. You picked the weirdest time to ghost, she said before I spoke. People are asking questions. Questions about why you erased me, I shot back, my voice trembling with rage, her hypocrisy fueling my fire. I didn't speak. Mira leaned closer, her tone dropping. You take things too personally. This wasn't about you. Not about me, I snapped, my voice cutting through her lies. You planned my humiliation, Mira. Still, I stayed quiet. I'd learned silence made them uncomfortable. I didn't mean for you to hear anything, she continued. Like that excused it. You know how I get when I'm nervous. I say dumb things. Talia was just being funny. You took it out of context. Funny, I roared, my voice shaking with fury. Wishing I'd died in a crash isn't a joke. She paused, waiting for my forgiveness or guilt. I straightened, finally speaking. I nearly died getting there, Mira. I drove through a blizzard, brought a cake I ordered weeks ago. I was drenched, cold, exhausted, but I showed up. And what I got was you joking about me crashing, about how silence would have been more convenient. That's not fair. No, I interrupted, holding her gaze. What's not fair is being treated like a ghost at your event. No seat, no photos, no acknowledgement. You erased me like I was a stain on your perfect ivory dress. You're twisting everything, Mira screamed, her face contorting with desperation. I leaned in, unyielding. You twisted it when you betrayed me. She scoffed, that laugh she uses when cornered. You're making this a whole thing. I'm not the villain here. I tilted my head. Then stop acting like one. Mira started talking over me, faster, desperate to regain control. I didn't hang up. I muted her. For 45 seconds, I watched her talk, unaware I couldn't hear, waving her hands, mouth tight, eyes wild. Then she noticed I wasn't reacting. I ended the call. No slamming, no drama, just one press of a button. For once, she felt the echo of speaking into nothing. You've lost me, I whispered, my voice steady as I set the phone down, a weight lifting from my soul. I stared at the blank screen, then opened my email attaching the catering invoice. Subject, receipt. Cake, Mira's engagement body attached is the receipt for the cake I paid for, the one left behind. I sent it to Evelyn, Aunt Nora, Mira. Within minutes, Evelyn replied, This isn't helping, Selene. Helping? I muttered, my voice bitter as I read her dismissal, their refusal to acknowledge my pain fueling my fire. No apology, no ownership, just another attempt to steer the spotlight away. But I wasn't 16 anymore, trying to belong at the adult table. I wasn't 23, desperate for approval when I landed my first job and no one came to the celebration dinner. I wasn't begging anymore, I was documenting, and the truth was louder than their curated silence. By Monday morning, my inbox had a new message from Evelyn. Enough. I opened it, expecting another reprimand, but it was calculated. You've embarrassed our family enough. You're lucky you were even invited. Don't ruin Mira's future out of jealousy. Attached was a screenshot from a private group chat, family inner circle. I wasn't in it. Mira. She's not well. She twists things. She'll spin this into a sob story. Evelyn. Thumbs up. Talia, we tried to include her. She's the drama queen. The narrative was spreading like rot beneath floorboards. Quiet, dirty, uncontainable, with a paper trail. You've been plotting against me for years, I whispered, my voice trembling with rage as I read their lies, my heart hardening. What hit wasn't just betrayal, but how rehearsed it felt, like they had contingency plans for me being a problem. When I didn't give them one, they invented it. I leaned back, the radiator hissing. I wasn't hurt anymore. I was awake. I'm done being your villain, I said, my voice steady as I closed the email, a fire igniting within me. Around noon, a coworker sent a Slack message. Hey, someone shared a screenshot of a vague IG post about a meltdown bride's sister. Is that you? My pulse spiked. I checked Instagram, Mira's profile, a pastel-filtered photo of her with champagne, head tilted in laughter. Caption, sometimes jealousy wears a familiar face, but real love shines through. A local wedding gossip blog reposted it with an anonymous story from a bridesmaid at an Aspen celebration, describing a family member arriving uninvited, demanding attention, having a breakdown, vanishing. You're slandering me to the world, I whispered, my voice shaking with fury as I read the lies, my resolve stealing. This wasn't family drama, it was public. I didn't scream, didn't throw anything. I opened a desktop folder, Truth, with photos of snow-covered roads, the cake receipt, a video of the untouched box, screenshots of messages I wasn't meant to see. I posted 3 images on Instagram, the cake in the kitchen, my frost-covered windshield after 10 hours, a selfie outside the venue, wet hair, red cheeks, holding the cake box. Caption: sometimes you show up for people who wouldn't shovel your name off a sidewalk, but that's how you learn. Some things you do out of love. Some teach you who deserves it. I turned off comments after 3 hours as they poured in, supportive, confused, asking for the full story. I wasn't ready to give it, but I'd given enough. This is my truth, I whispered, my voice resolute as I posted, reclaiming my narrative from their lies. Then I emailed Mira's fiancé's company PR department, attaching the chat screenshot and Instagram post. No commentary, just materials. If he wanted a marriage built on lies, let him see how they were crafted. No revenge, I whispered, just consequences. That evening, as snow pattered against my windows, my phone buzzed. Talia, you didn't hear this from me, but Mira's fiancé postponed the engagement dinner with his parents. Something came up. I didn't respond. I didn't need to. I curled up on my couch, lit a candle, pulled a thick blanket over my legs. For once, I wasn't the storm. I was the break in the clouds. Saturday morning arrived in sunshine, pretending nothing was broken. But at Aunt Lila's house, I felt it. Crackling electricity, like before lightning strikes. She greeted me with a shoulder squeeze, whispering, "Don't let them make you small." Inside, it was brunch theater. Silver platters of berries and croissants, too many people in beige sweaters, cinnamon not masking the tension. I sat near the window where no one had to meet my eyes. Most didn't. Mira stood at the dining room's end, champagne flute in hand, center stage. She tapped her glass. "I just want to say," she began, words dripping like venom. This week has shown how beautiful it is when family chooses love over ego. Ego, I whispered, my voice trembling with rage as her dig landed, my resolve hardening. The dig was smooth, practiced, poisonous. Someone laughed nervously. Eyes darted to me. I sipped my grapefruit juice. I was done pretending I didn't hear. I stood, calm, deliberate. Mind if I say something too? Mira blinked. Aunt Leela's fork froze. A hush rolled across the table. I drove 10 hours in a blizzard for that party, I began, with a cake I paid for which sat untouched while people who claimed to love me laughed about me dying on the road. Gasps. Talia choked on her mimosa. Evelyn's face drained. Mira's mouth opened, but I raised my hand, holding the floor. I heard you, Mira, you and Talia, through the kitchen door, laughing about how peaceful it'd be if I never showed up. You're lying! Mira shrieked, her voice cracking with panic. I held up my phone, unyielding. Want to hear the truth? She shook her head. Selene, that was out of context. I didn't let her finish, hitting play. The room filled with their laughter, Mira's voice unmistakable. 10 hours? For what? A sad little cake? Talia, what if she crashed? Imagine the sympathy and silence. I paused it. That's the context, I said softly. Mira's fiancé looked stunned, blinking at her like he didn't know her. Evelyn reached for her wine. No one moved to defend her. Mira lunged toward me. You don't get to twist this. Twist! I roared, my voice shaking with fury. You betrayed me, Mira! I stepped back, phone in hand. You twisted it when you chose humiliation over honesty. I called your bluff, I answered louder. You needed a villain so badly you forgot what it cost to make one. You're ruining my life, Mira screamed, tears streaming down her face. I met her gaze, unyielding. You ruined it when you erased me. The air shifted. The silence wasn't heavy. It was sharp. Real. I didn't stay for dessert. Aunt Lila followed, placing a hand on my back, whispering, You didn't just clear your name, honey. You burned their script. I'm finally free, I whispered, my voice steady as I walked out, the weight of their lies lifting. I didn't reply. I didn't have to. Link to next chapter. The silence they left followed me home, but I wasn't alone anymore. Mira's words echoed like the last gust before calm. I didn't sleep much, not from anxiety, but because something had shifted, settled. When you walk through a storm that fierce and come out standing, it's not the storm you remember, it's the silence after. I've reclaimed my truth, I whispered, my voice resolute as I lay in bed, the weight of my triumph grounding me. I woke Saturday to 4 notifications before rolling out of bed. First, from Kiera, a childhood neighbor I hadn't spoken to in 4 years. Did you hear? Engagement dinner's off. His parents asked for a pause. I stared, blinking through disbelief. It unraveled faster than expected. They're falling apart, I whispered, my voice steady with quiet vindication as I read her message. Next, a vague status from Aunt Leela. Truth burns, but it frees you, if you're ready. No names, but everyone knew who she meant. The last was a photo from the brunch, me holding the mic, mid-sentence, shared to a family thread with unhinged. Attention-seeking, as always. You can't bury me, I muttered, my voice trembling with rage as their lies spread, my resolve unyielding. I didn't reply. I didn't need to. The part of me that ached for explanation, that screamed, see me, was done asking. I poured coffee, stared at the slushy street. An open box of journals spilled years of pages. I pulled one, flipped to a sentence in teenage handwriting. Maybe if I'm quieter, they'll love me louder. I tore it out, lit a match over the sink, watched it turn to ash. That girl didn't live here anymore. I'm not her anymore, I whispered, my voice steady as the ashes fell, a weight lifting from my soul. The day passed slowly, like everything was catching up. At sunset, my phone buzzed. Mira's fiancé. I'm sorry, Selene, you didn't deserve that. I heard everything, didn't speak up, and I regret it. I read it twice, not for vindication, but surprise. His tone offered accountability, not forgiveness. It didn't fix anything, but it meant I wasn't crazy. Someone finally sees me, I whispered, my voice steady with quiet relief, the truth anchoring me. An hour later, Talia, I'm not proud of who I was that night. No follow-up, no excuse. It hit harder than her insults. That night, I opened a blank post. Sometimes it takes a blizzard to see clearly. This is for anyone who's been made too much for existing. I didn't publish, but saved it. My voice didn't need a spotlight. Just space. My voice is enough, I whispered, my voice resolute as I saved the draft, reclaiming my narrative. Just as I closed my laptop, my phone vibrated, one word from Myra. Please. I stared, my heart steady, hands still. I didn't smile. I understood the difference between missing someone and missing who you hoped they'd be. I set the phone down. You don't get to pull me back, I whispered, my voice firm as I ignored her plea. My freedom, hard won. A week passed before I dialed her. Her voice was small. You just left me, Selene. You disappeared after everything. That's how I've felt since I was 10, Mira, I said. No venom, just truth. You erased me for years, I said, my voice trembling with unspoken pain, her silence deafening. She didn't fight, didn't spin. I messed up. I was cruel. I didn't want you there because I knew people would compare us, and I hated that feeling. Then you should have told me, I replied. I'd have sent the cake. I wouldn't have driven through a blizzard. I was a coward, Mira whispered, her voice breaking with rare honesty, catching me off guard. She went silent, then, I started therapy this week. I closed my eyes, part disbelief, part relief. Good! That's the most human thing I've heard you say in years. You're trying, I said, my voice steady but guarded, unsure if I could trust her change. She tried to laugh, but it faltered. My fiancé hasn't spoken to me since the brunch. He needs time to figure things out. Maybe he's learning what I did. Silence can be louder than screaming, I said. Mira cried, real crying, not attention-seeking. I didn't comfort her, didn't hang up. I can't fix you, I said, my voice steady with quiet strength, setting my boundary. I don't hate you, I said finally, but I can't go back to how things were. I'm done playing the background. I don't want to lose you, Mira whispered, her voice raw with desperation, but I held firm. She stayed on the line, breathing through the distance. After a moment we hung up, nothing dramatic, just done. I'm free, I whispered, my voice resolute as I set the phone down, the weight of my past lifting. Later, I reread my draft 3 times, then hit publish, to the quiet one at the table. You're not invisible. You don't need their permission to speak. Your story begins where their lies end. Notifications lit up, messages from classmates, co-workers, distant relatives. Some apologized, some said thank you. I didn't respond to most. I didn't need to. My truth is enough, I whispered, my voice steady as the messages poured in, my voice resonating. The next morning, I walked 3 blocks in chilly air to the bakery where I'd ordered the cake, ordering a simple one, white frosting, silver dust, no names, no messages, just peace. Back home, I lit a candle on top, sliced the first piece for myself. I didn't toast, didn't cry, just ate, quiet, complete. This is for me, I whispered, my voice steady as I took a bite, the sweetness a quiet victory. Outside, the snow had melted, puddles reflecting clear skies. Not every ending needed to be loud. Some just needed to be honest. This one belonged to me. Sometimes the storm doesn't destroy, it clears the air. Selene's story reminds us silence isn't always peace, and standing up doesn't make you cruel, it makes you free. Have you been treated like you were too much for existing? Or walked away from family to find your voice? Share in the comments. We'd love to hear your story. If you believe in stories that heal, fight back, matter. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and turn on notifications so you never miss the next one. Your voice belongs here.